Welcome.
Welcome to the Everything podcast, and in this episode I'm going to be continuing looking at the Big Finish news for July and August 2024. We're up to the 9th of July 2024, which is when the second Doctor Adventures Conspiracy of Raven was released. Before I go to talk about the press release and show you the trailer, I've already reviewed this, all 3 episodes, so go and check them out. They are in a nice playlist called the Second Doctor Adventure or Second Doctor Adventures, so go and check that out. But here we have the press release from the Big Finish website, which reads as follows: the Second Doctor's conspiracy theory. Michael Troughton, Fraser Hines and Wendy Bradbury star in Conspiracy of Raven, a brand new box set of full cast audio drama released today for Big Finish Productions. The Second Doctor has been reunited with his former companion Jamie and forced to carry out missions for mysterious Time Lord agent Raven. Now their TARDIS team is complete once more, as their 3 new adventures bring them face to face with old friend Zoe, but the Doctor's not convinced she's who she claims to be. Jamie has gone missing while Zoe apparently returns after a lifetime away from the TARDIS. Oh yes, does even the sinister Time Lord Raven realise the terrifying extent of the conspiracy in which she is embroiled? The Doctor and his friends must fight to uncover the truth. The Second Doctor Adventures Conspiracy of Raven is the 3rd box set in a new era for the Second Doctor that takes place after the events of his final TV story, 1969's The War Games. Michael Troughton stars in the title role as originally played on TV by his father Patrick, whilst Fraser Hines and Wendy Bradbury return as companions Jamie and Zoe. This marks the first time that this fan favourite TARDIS team has been reunited for a full cast audio drama. The 3 episodes in this box set are clippers by Nicholas Briggs, with the synopsis being: the Doctor and Jamie have attempted to break free from performing covert missions for the Time Lord agent Raven, but things haven't gone according to plan. Jamie has vanished, Raven finds herself in a familiar yet strangely disturbing location, and all the while, half-glimpsed, unnervingly perceived something fluttering, buzzing, tugging at their very souls. Next up is Catastrophe Theory by Mark Wright, with the synopsis being: when the Doctor comes face to face with Zoe, can he be sure it really is his old friend? Jamie is lost somewhere in the cosmos and the Doctor must find him. From a pleasure cruiser on course for destruction to an alien world invaded by savage warriors, the Doctor faces catastrophe at every turn, but what has become of his Raven? And the 3rd and final story in this box set is titled The Vanishing Point, written by Mark Wright and Nicholas Briggs, with the synopsis being: following the threads of a conspiracy twisting through all of time and space, the Doctor and his companions head to the Vanishing Point, a mythical place said to exist somewhere between science and magic, but it is a journey from which they may never return. Emma Noakes reprises her role as Raven, the Doctor's supervisor from the Celestial Intervention Agency, and the guest cast includes Jacqueline King, known as Sylvia Noble in Doctor Who, as Nicholas Briggs, Big Finish's executive producer and a regular voice of Doctor Who monsters as Celestian and Moral Novice. Also in the guest cast of the Second Doctor Adventures Conspiracy of Raven are Susan Harrison, Mickey Knighton, Karen Prudhoe and Gary Turner. Michael Troughton said, it's the old crew back again. It's brilliant, I'm really enjoying it. Fraser and Wendy work so well together as if they've never stopped from the original series. Jamie and the Doctor have a very close, tender relationship, and then Zoe provides this wonderful foil. Jamie is well-meaning but will always use brawn, and Zoe is particularly clever, incredibly scientific and very meticulous. And it's a wonderful balance because you've got the Doctor in the middle summing up which way he wants to go. Wendy Padbury adds, it's quite easy to slip back into the character of Zoe. She finds herself meeting the Doctor and he doesn't believe it's really her. She's slightly offended and says, I know I look a bit older, but come on, surely I'm not that different. Patrick would be thrilled for honoring his memories with these, truly, and of course, if he could be here, he would be. He would have gone on and on. That is the press release for the second Doctor Adventures, Conspiracy of Raven. Here's the trailer.
From Big Finish Productions, Doctor Who, The Second Doctor Adventures, Conspiracy of Raven.
Do your worst, Raven, if you can. I refuse! Kippers, we're perfectly friendly, so there's no need for you to...
Do something, for goodness sake, do something!
Some idiotic, ineffectual fiddling, you mean? Jamie? Jamie! We got to her!
Doctor? Is it really you?
I didn't catch that. What's he saying? What's happened to the feed from the TARDIS?
What's going on?
Oh, the TARDIS made a slight course correction, it seems. Yes.
Oh, feathered goddess!
What?
The warp engines are out of phase!
Come on, let's see if we can effect a three-phase bypass.
You just made that up.
What was that?
Jamie? Zoe? When I say run...
We know! Run!
Big Finish, for the love of stories.
That was the trailer for the second Doctor Adventures, Conspiracy of Raven. And as I said at the start of the episode, go and check out my reviews for those episodes if you haven't already. But next up, I will be talking about Once and Future Coda, the final act, with the cast being announced. It's a very interesting cast. So, yes, I should have said that this was announced on the 10th of July 2024 with the title The War Doctor versus The Fugitive Doctor. Should give you an idea about who the cast is. The War Doctor, played by Jonathan Carley, and the Fugitive Doctor, played by Jo Martin, clash even. In Once and Future's Coda, the final act, the conclusion to Big Finish Productions' I think that's the plural, epic celebration of Doctor Who's 60th anniversary. The Doctor has solved the mystery of his degeneration and finally stabilised into his correct face, though it's one he'll later choose to forget. And his trouble isn't over as he finds himself pursued by another of his own incarnations destined to be forgotten. As Once and Future reaches the final act, it's the War Doctor versus the Fugitive Doctor. Once and Future Coda, the final act, is the 8th and final instalment of an epic full-cast audio drama series celebrating the 60th anniversary of Doctor Who. The first 7 episodes were released monthly between May and October 2023, and in November 2024, the story will finally come to its explosive conclusion. Here we have the synopsis for Once and Future if you haven't listened to any of the episodes so far. Dealing with the repercussions of degeneration, the Doctor has a limited window of time to evade capture, recruit old allies, wage a war, and find out what's really going on. A warrior is being hunted by a mysterious stranger in a TARDIS. A rogue agent has been assigned a mission to eliminate a dangerous foe. This is a fight between a war criminal and a fugitive, a fight between doctors. Jonathan Carley stars as the War Doctor, as originally portrayed on TV by Sir John Hurt, and Jo Martin makes her Big Finish debut as the Fugitive Doctor, the incarnation from along in the Doctor's past who was first seen in 2020 TV episode Fugitive of the Doom. In the spirit of the anniversary celebration, the two Doctors are joined by a cast of guest stars and familiar faces that include Lisa Bauman as Bernice Summerfield, the 26th century archaeologist who's long been a friend of the Doctor, and Chase Masterson, yes, as the bounty hunter Vienna Salvatore. Also on the cast list are Imogen Stubbs as Queen Elizabeth I, Nicholas Kahn as Shalfka, leader of the Vord, and Richard Reed as various voices. We have a quote from David Richardson here. So what he says. Producer David Richardson said, "The main story of Once a Future is over, but this is an afterword, a final chapter which unites two incarnations who have been lost to the Doctor's consciousness. It's the fugitive versus War Doctor, with some old friends and foes joining the fray. And significantly, this is Joe Martin's first performance for Big Finish. Welcome aboard, Joe. You're absolutely brilliant." David Richardson is mentioning kind of the Fugitive Doctor Big Finish series, which will release from January 2025. Once a Future Coda, the final act, releases in November 2024, so I will be reviewing that at some point. Obviously, depending upon how long it is, depends how far away it is, but I'll obviously listen to it when it comes out. So here we have the cover. So we have Joe Martin as the Fugitive Doctor, Jonathan Carley as the War Doctor, and Lisa Bauman as Bernice Summerfield, which we're actually going to talk about some more Bernice Summerfield news, which is also released on the 10th of July 2024. So, as I just said, we'll talk about Once a Future Coda, the final act, which will feature Lisa Bauman as Bernice Summerfield. So another release also announced on the 10th of July 2020. Well, it wasn't announced, but some more details, including the cover, was announced on the 10th of July 2024, with Lisa Bauman as Bernice Summerfield. And the press release reads, "What secrets does the Eternity Club hide? Story details and cover artwork are revealed today for Bernice Summerfield's brand new series of audio adventures due to be released from September 2024. Welcome to the Eternity Club, where a warm welcome awaits the universe's greatest explorers, a place of mystery, intrigue and creeping danger. Professor Bernice Summerfield has finally been invited to join, but membership comes at a terrible price." Lisa Bauman, who has played the 26th century archaeologist Professor Bernice Summerfield for Big Finish Productions since 1998, returns for an exciting new series of adventures. This time, Benny even finds herself among an elite club of interplanetary explorers, including representatives of a range of alien races from the Doctor Who universe. The New Adventures of Bernice Summerfield, the Eternity Club, is a series of 4 full-cast audio drama releases, each comprising 2 half-hour episodes due to be released monthly from September to December 2024. So obviously these are speaking about the podcast and when I'm going to review it. Obviously these episodes will probably be reviewed before something like Once a Future Coda, the final act. Definitely something for example, like no, I can't even. Can I give an example? Oh, we'll just say some of your suggestion movies because I didn't want to spoil stuff that I haven't talked about yet. Yes, so the 8 stories in this series. So in September's release, we have the Armageddon Chair by James Goss, with the synopsis being Bernice Summerfield is still settling in at the Eternity Club. Secretary Pym sends her on a quest enlisting help from Draconians, Sontarans, Jarvins, and the club's enigmatic oldest member. Also in September, we have Triumph of the Jarvin, also written by James Goss, with the synopsis being an archaeological expedition led by a Jarvin queen. What secrets has she uncovered in the forgotten deserts of Paran, and why are people dying? And then we're to the part 2, which releases in October, with the first story being Rhubarb by Tim Foley, with the synopsis being a small argument between a Sontaran and a Draconian escalates into an interstellar war. Who is manipulating events, and can Bernice Summerfield avert disaster? Also in part 2, releasing in October, we have Please Retain Your Ticket for the Cook Room, also written by Tim Foley, with the synopsis being the threat emerges from deep inside the hidden depths of the Eternity Club. Professor Summerfield and Secretary, I will get that right at some point, Pym, must voyage into the unknown. Next up, so in part 3, releasing in November 2024, we have The Terrible Shame of a Tree, written by James Goss, with the synopsis being: missing for 1,000 years, the endless Arboretum has been found. Are the last survivors of Lucris still alive, and who is hunting for them? Also in part 3, we have Mr. Pym Has an Adventure, which is also written by James Goss. Secretary Pym has never left the Eternity Club. This will never do. Bernie Summerfield drags him on an expedition. What can possibly go wrong? Now we're into December with part 4, with the final part and release of the new adventures of Bernie Summerfield, the Eternity Club, with the first story being Sanctuary by Tim Foley, with the synopsis being: a battle fleet has breached the defences of the Eternity Club, demanding the surrender of the Death. Only Bernie Summerfield knows what this is, but even she cannot believe it. The final story, not only in part 4 but in the entire series of the Eternity Club, is Liturgy of Death, also written by Tim Foley, with the synopsis being: the Eternity Club has fallen. How long can the survivors endure? The time has come for 3 members to reveal their true identities. Alongside Lisa Bauman, the new adventures of Bernie Summerfield, the Eternity Club stars Nicholas Grace, known for Whitehead Revisited, Nimp Kuzak, known for The Tower, Don Starkey, known for Doctor Who, Simon Kane, known for John Fillmore's Souvenir programme, and Jay Jacobs for Casualty. Writer Tim Foley said, "My first attempt to ever write a script was a Bernie Summerfield for a GCSE school project. I'm delighted that all these years later I've helped James Goss set up a new era and a new family. I love it when Benny leads a motley crew and the residents of the Eternity Club can't get any motlier. We have a new format, 2 half-hour episodes, which allows us to tell stories of all kinds of scales. My stories will include Interstellar War, cupboard cleaning, ancient secrets, and rhubarb. I hope there's a real coziness for these epic tales and vice versa. The Eternity Club may have seen better days, but if anyone can get it back on track, it's Professor Bernie Summerfield." Producer and writer James Goss added, "We're still really feeling the loss of David Warner's Unbound Doctor, and wanted the fans of Benny herself to have a nice sit down and a chance to reflect on what else is in the universe. Tim and I thought it would be lovely to give Benny a bit of recognition so she finally gets to join a club of the galaxy's greatest explorers. Only it soon turns out not all is going according to plan. We're showcasing several monsters from the worlds of Doctor Who in an unusual way. There's a Zentaran academic, a Draconian archaeologist, and a member of Javan royalty in exile, but there's also something very peculiar about the Eternity Club itself. No one can remember why it was founded or even how they got there. Is it all to do with some of the other members? There's no trailer. Well, there is a trailer, but I'm not talking about it because you know what I mean. But next time on the Everything Podcast, I will start the next episode by talking about Torchwood Art Decadence. So let me know what you thought about all the news I talked about in this episode, and let me know what you've thought of the Second Doctor Adventures Conspiracy of Raven, if you've listened to it as well, and if you've listened to it, go and check out my reviews as well for those as well. And remember, you can put any suggestions that you want of things for me to cover in the comments below as well. Remember, you can also like, comment and subscribe, and that's it for this episode of the Everything Podcast. Goodbye.